Hello, everyone. This is Love to Hear It, episode 1 with Her Campus at UCF. Woo! Today we have Chelsea and we have Nicole, and then there's me, Chrissy, and we are going to be talking about dating nightmares.
I have a lot of material for that one.
I think we all do.
Yeah, I think we all sing.
Yes. So first of all, I want to ask you guys, what is your current relationship status? Chelsea, why don't you start?
Complicated.
Complicated?
I love it. See, the reason I say that is because a lot of people at one point were really invested in my love life, and that was pretty detrimental to myself and to the other person that I was potentially seeing. So I'll just keep it as complicated, just so that anyone who's listening, keep it a mystery.
It's complicated.
We'll feel it out.
It's a real Facebook status, so
Yep.
we accept it.
So,
What about you, Nicole?
Oh, I'm just single.
Single?
I single with no options on the table.
oh, yikes.
It's just
I mean,
100%
if
single.
you look at the options, I
You'll
can't blame you.
understand why when you hear my story.
Oh,
Oh
very
boy.
excited.
Here we
What
go.
about you, Chrissy?
Me, I'm currently in a relationship.
Love to hear it.
We love that.
That's so funny. We're all in like different,
Yeah.
like little
Yeah.
bubbles.
There's variety.
That's
here.
perfect.
Variety.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Diversity.
All right. So let's just jump right in, you guys. Dating nightmares. Nicole, personally, I'm very excited
Oh,
for
Yeah.
what you have to
Why don't
say.
you
Okay,
go
all right,
first?
all
Ring
right.
it in.
It's
Yeah.
funny because when we were picking the topic for this, we had like the group chat about it, and Sam, our editor-in-chief, or not our editor-in-chief.
Isn't that
That's
you?
you.
No, Sam's our senior editor. She commented, "Nicole, you have to tell the story. You know the one." And I was like, "It's nice that this has achieved a level of infamy that like everyone just like knows about it in my social circle at this point."
And now we're
Well, yeah,
bringing it
now
forward
I'm sharing
to
it with the world. Obviously, I'm gonna use a pseudonym because I would never roast someone like this
Oh
with
my
their
God.
name in
Wait,
public.
I just want to say that one of the first times I talked to you, you didn't tell me any like specific story, but it was kind of mentioned. Literally, like
Was
the
it there?
first time that
It's
I
like
met
a part
you.
of my personality. Wait, when was that? When was
We were,
that?
I think it was one of the first times I actually like spoke to you. We were walking and it was like a group, and you were like, "Oh, want to come with us to Starbucks?" And
Oh,
I
it was
like,
definitely
"Yeah."
the same time.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it was like your dating life, and I was like, "Whoa, crazy!"
Yeah.
I was like, "That's insane."
I feel like it sounds like more intense than it is the way we talk about it here. It's just like it's so ridiculous. Like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna start. So, so this wasn't a blind date. Like, because I feel like a blind date, you know nothing at
Right.
all about the person.
Right.
I knew what he looked like, and I knew like the basic information because my friend introduced me to this guy.
Okay.
I'm gonna call him. What should I call him? What's a good like?
Tom.
pseudonym? Tom, like Tom Brady. Would never go on a date with him.
No, I
Anyway.
wouldn't.
So
okay.
Boo! Boo, Patriots!
Sorry,
Is it the
Ashley.
Patriots? Am I dumb?
Sorry, Ashley.
Yes,
Ashley's
no,
a
it's a
Patriots
Patriots.
fan.
Thank you.
We still love you, Ashley. Anyway,
Who's Ashley?
I'm from
Ashley
New
Reicher
England.
is she's our Instagram.
Oh, okay. Wait, does she like
We're
talking
gonna
about
have to
me?
cut this out probably because I said she's our Instagram.
She's from Boston,
Yeah.
and I'm from New Hampshire.
Oh,
There you go.
so you guys are Patriots.
Sorry.
I know, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Boo!
It's okay. It's
Peyton
okay.
Manning only,
Oh my god.
even though he's retired.
Okay.
Okay, anyway,
Back on track.
not important.
Anyway, so hello. Okay, so Tom.
Yes.
I like was introduced to him by a friend, and they were like, "Oh, you guys would really get along. Like, you should go out together. Like, I'll like message him and give him your number, right?"
Uh-huh.
So I was like, "Okay, cool. I don't have to do any work. Like, I already know he's cute. Like, it's fine." So that happened. It took a few days. I finally got a message from Tom. We made plans to go. We kind of like it was already a little weird because like we were texting before that because like it took us a few days to plan the date. So we were like texting awkwardly even though we didn't know each other at all, which is like kind of hard to do. It's even harder than like a Bumble match because at least you have like the basics on Bumble.
Yeah, you have
I
like.
didn't know like anything about this guy, so it was just awkward.
Uh-huh.
So that happened. So we finally go on the date. It's already weird because I was early. I'm never early to anything.
Okay, what was the date?
Starbucks.
Starbucks
Yes.
date.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
so-
a staple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was easy. I was like, hey, cool.
Uh-huh.
The time was kind of weird though. Like I would prefer to go to Starbucks like at 12 or like even like, 4 or something.
Uh-huh.
It was like 8 o'clock, I think.
At night?
Yeah, I was really late. So that was when he was free, and I was like, whatever, it's
Okay.
fine.
Uh-huh.
So I went there. Actually, it was so early because I was nervous. That's the
Uh-huh.
only time I'm ever early to anything is if I'm just like nervous as shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So I went to the wrong Starbucks first, and I was early. Like, you know how on University, there's like the Starbucks that's on University on the left?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's the one that if you turn left on Alafaya further down, like by, I don't even know. There's the one that's like down there. Like
Right.
there's Starbucks with the drive-thru on University, and there's the one on Alafaya down like by.
It's right next to Moe's.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what you're
Exactly.
talking-
Yeah.
So the one next to Moe's is the one I was supposed to go to, and I went to the University one, and then I had like a brain explosion, and I realized I was at the wrong one.
Oh
But
my
I was
God.
early enough that I still made it on time to the other Starbucks. So
Oh,
that
nice.
was like the only good part of this experience, was me not being late for some reason. So I get there. He's late, which is fine, because again, I'm always late to everything. I'm just
Mhm.
used to people being late. It's just how I am. Not as late as I was to this today, but late, like 5 minutes-ish is
Oh.
my norm, which is sad, but true. So I'm waiting there. I literally was like moving around seats in this Starbucks trying to find like the best lighting because I didn't want to like be dead. So I was like, oh, I can't sit here. It's like fluorescent above me. Oh, if I sit here, like I'll be near the window, so I'll have like flesh.
The
tones or
natural
whatever. Yeah,
lighting.
it was like it was pitch black out. Like,
Oh
it was
my
so dark. It was just the most awkward thing. And Starbucks is only open till I think it was only open till 9 or something at night.
really?
Yeah, we were only there for like an hour inside of it, the
Uh-huh.
Starbucks, and then we went and sat outside after. So we it was empty basically. There were a couple other like poor saps doing finals work and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was finals, it might have been like midterms because I think this was like March maybe. February
Okay.
or March. I don't know. When did I tell you about it, Chelsea? It was like February.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty early on.
Yeah,
because I
this was a
joined
hot minute
fall.
ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, people are doing work, but like it was pretty much empty. It was just the barista was there.
Uh-huh.
He was very nice. I didn't know if I should order or not because like Tom had not gotten there yet.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, oh, are we getting stuff? Are we just like sitting here? I don't know. So I waited. He finally arrives. First impression, I was wearing like a very chill outfit, like a sundress basically, and
Mhm.
it was like hot out even though it was February because it's Florida.
Yeah.
And I was just like whatever. And I don't know. I just didn't know what he was gonna be presenting himself as because I only kind of knew like what his selfies looked like. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
yeah,
it wasn't,
yeah.
Like, I didn't have a sense of his like
Style.
yeah.
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 So he kind of looked like he was. I think his shirt had a pentagram on it. That's where I'm getting with this.
It's babe.
A pentagram?
Yeah,
Oh,
isn't that what's called
boy.
like the star?
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what shirt
Okay.
I'm gonna wear to my first date?
I was
Perfect.
like, oh my god, like right out the bat, like oh wow.
We're
And
just jumping right
full
in.
black everything with a pentagram, which like do you? I was not like totally freaked out by that. I just was like that's bold for the first time.
Mhm.
And the contrast, if you had looked at us in the Starbucks, it would have been so funny because I was like, I think my dress was pink and I had like a denim jacket on. I looked like a Sailor Moon side character.
Oh my gosh,
And-
stop.
yeah.
But
God.
that's perfect though. It's
And
okay.
That
he
is
walks in
so
here, like
funny.
I was floored basically. But he was still cute, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Mhm.
Like he looked fine. Like
Uh-huh.
it was shocking at first, but then I was like, this isn't as serious as like I'm making it out to be. So also I don't know, I just didn't really. I was like, when you're on a first date, and you have those expectations, and you're like really expecting it to go.
Yeah.
well,
Oh, yes.
kind of
Uh-huh.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's gonna go fine because it's a first date, and that's just how things go. Like it's gonna be good. And,
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, I digress. So we start like talking, and it was one of those, like, it was just awkward. Like I felt like I had to make all the conversation, which is already kind of awkward.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And it devolved into like that? I guess it's like a meme at this point of like, you probably haven't heard of them, like a snob.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
Like this whole conversation was him being like, oh yeah, I listen to like so and so's music. I'm sure you haven't heard of them. And I was like, what? And
What
it
are you
was-
implying?
It was bands that are really like well known too, like the Kinks, I think, or something like that.
Or the
And I was-
Kooks?
Yeah,
The
I was
Kooks,
like,
yeah.
what do you mean I haven't heard of them? What do I look like?
Wow,
Is
you're
it because I'm wearing pink?
It's so different.
It was just awkward. And I was like dragging myself through this, trying to make it like not, just about like music. I found out he's like in a metal band.
He's in one?
Yeah.
What does he do?
I don't remember. I don't think he was a vocalist. I think he played an instrument. Maybe it was guitar.
Oh,
It was
okay.
drums. It was guitar or drums. What other instruments are there? Though?
Bass.
Bass.
It wasn't that. So, so it was guitar and drums, I guess.
Okay.
And it was just like it was the most stereotypical, like, kind of head ass, kind of like snobby music guy who's in a band and thinks that makes him like next level or something. And yeah, it was just weird. And he would say, we would do like, because he was hard to come up with like conversation topics on a first date, kind of, because you're still like figuring each other out, and it kind of devolved into like 20 questions almost.
Okay.
But like not explicitly stated 20 questions, but just like I would ask a question, and then it would be like kind of understood that it was like his turn to ask a question. So we were just going back and forth. Finally, the Starbucks closed, so we sat outside because it had only been like an hour, and he was late too, so it was not that long. And it just, I don't know, I felt like it was going well, but it like wasn't. Also, like I was subconsciously aware that it was not a fun time, but I was like, I don't feel like threatened, so I might as well just stay. So I was sitting outside with him talking. It was humid as hell. Like I could feel my hair expanding as we spoke. Like the threads of hair just sticking out of my head.
Florida nighttime.
Yeah, it
That
was just
Einstein
bad.
in you coming out.
It was horrific. So I didn't even want to know what I looked like. But we kept talking outside for a little while. It was still like, it was just weird conversation. Like not, not interesting, just like obligatory, like answering questions back and forth.
Right.
Finally, like I think it was like 10:30, I was like, okay, I have to like leave. I'm, because I live in Sanford, which is not near UCF. Like it's like 20-30 minutes away. So
Right.
okay, I want to go home. Like it's late, whatever. So I finally said like, oh, I should probably be getting home. Like I have class tomorrow, whatever. And he was like, okay, cool. And then I offered to drive him to his car because he was parked like I don't know where he parked. It was weird. Like if you know that Starbucks, there's like a lot right in front.
In the front and the back.
Yeah. So he was in the back. So I was like, okay, I'll drive you there. Like it's dark, whatever. That's like polite of me. So I did. And as we were like in the car, he was like, so what do you think? You want to go on another date? Which was like kind of, I don't know if that's abnormal or not. And it was just I was very taken aback. And obviously I'm like, I was nervous. So I said, yeah. But I didn't want to.
Oh my god.
So I was like, yeah, I'm totally going to be like, yeah. So, but I didn't want to. I just thought it was bold in hindsight to like ask that.
I mean, like if you think about it, like if you go to a restaurant and the chef comes up to you and is like, "How's the food?
Would you
Did you
eat
like
it
it? Would you eat here again?" You're like,
like, what am I supposed to say? I feel like I was being like put on the spot or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, totally, sure, for sure, Z's,
Can
LOL.
I just say, I have a phrase that I love to use, and it's boys be bold. BBB. That has just built up over time for me.
Really do.
Because my roommate and I talk about it all the time. She'll be like, this guy did this, like he's an idiot. And I'm like, boys be bold.
That's biblical, dude.
Like,
That's
honestly,
it. That's
oh my
that.
God, that's
Number
so
one
true.
girl code.
That's my new favorite verse. Boys be bold. That's so, like, that's the definite, it was so bold. And I was like, oh, geez, I don't even know.
Right.
So I said yes, and I dropped him off his car. It was fine. I went home, and I was like, at first, I had like that, I don't know, I think my brain just is stupid. I was like, oh, that was really fun. And then like, I drove the 30 minutes home, and then I was like, no, it wasn't. I had a terrible time.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm just not having a good time.
Yeah, bro, I'm seriously just not having a good time right now. So I, of course, I like texted him the next day or whatever. He was like, hey, when are you free to go out again? And I was like, oh, like honestly, I just don't really, I'd rather not, I'd rather just be friends. Like I had a good time, but like I just don't see it really going anywhere.
Mhm.
And this is where the boldness comes in.
Oh,
He
gosh.
goes, he goes, why? And I was like, oh, I mean, I don't know, like I just didn't really feel like a connection or anything like that. And this is like the icing on the cake of this entire story. This is his response to that message.
Oh my god.
The pseudonym is almost useless because as soon as I say this, he's gonna know. It's important for everyone else, but he goes, okay, I understand. Let me know if you need an endorphin rush or something sometime. I'm around or something like that. And I was like, are you offering me crack? Like, is that, I knew what he meant, but I was like, what the hell? Like, what did I miss? Like that, I don't know. I was really nice about it, and like, I could have just ghosted him. I wouldn't do that because I'm not an asshole, but like, I did have. It was a first date with someone I didn't even know. And I was like, I answered his question. He didn't have to ask. It's his own fault for asking. Like, what was I supposed to say?
Like he wanted to know and you told
I
him.
gave him the truth, which is I just don't see it going anywhere. It's like, no. So yeah, he was like, basically said just hit him up if I'm interested in anything casual, I guess. But like, I'm not, so.
An endorphin rush.
Yeah, it was so bold. And I think it all boils down to I should have seen like the pentagram on his shirt and known right away that choice for a first date outfit was where the boldness originated.
Yeah.
It was just the most chaotic like 2 hours of my life. And it was awkward and like I think I'm covering everything. I don't think it seems like much more traumatic than it was. Like the way I describe it was actually like It was fun.
I feel like when you're going through it,
Yeah,
it's
for
like
sure,
you're
for
like,
sure.
oh my god, did he really just
Yeah.
insinuate?
It was like a repetitive, like out of body experience. Like,
Yeah.
like, oh, this is happening. Oh, this is happening now.
Mhm.
Like, oh, that happened. Like, it was so weird. So I
Oh,
think
man.
that's probably the worst first date I've been on, just because it was like uncomfortable and we were not compatible at all, and I was just like, the aftermath was awkward. It was just all of the things that could have been like awkward without like devolving into generally like horribleness. It was a step above horrible. Like, I felt safe.
That's good.
That's the best thing I can say.
Right.
about that date.
Well, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, so at what point did it really click during the conversation where you were like, this is not gonna work out at all?
I think it was the very first time he said something that was like, oh, I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't know about that, like about a band, because I just think that's so like
Superiority complex.
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh my
so
God,
pretentious.
get off
For sure.
your high horse about it. Like, why would I not know the Kinks? I wish I could remember what band it was. It was some like very well known band.
Like the Strokes or like
I don't even think it was that. Like, I could see someone maybe not knowing who the Strokes are.
Uh-huh.
It was like, it was the equivalence of saying like Vampire Weekend. That
Oh
was,
my
like,
God.
how would I
Okay.
not who that is?
oh my god.
So, yeah, that was the first thing, because I hate that in people, like, especially guys, like,
Mhm.
like, treat me as an equal, especially intellectually, like, don't act like you're better than me, because
Or smarter.
in a metal band.
Right, yeah.
It's not that serious. So, yeah, that was a bust. But oh,
It's too
well.
bad.
I lived.
You
Say.
lived. You lived to tell the tale.
Yep.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, it was a lot. So, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but maybe it'll come to me in 2 hours. Like some random comment about his that was particularly.
We'll add it to the end of our
Yeah, we'll
podcast
talk
when you
Probably-
think about it.
I think I got it all. That should be it.
Chelsea, do you have a story for us?
Okay, yeah. So I want to say this is probably the worst date I've ever been on. And not just just a disclosure, like, this guy is not like a bad person whatsoever. He's a really nice guy, and like
Yeah.
I still occasionally like talk to him, not
Mhm.
like a lot, but he's a good friend. So this happened this past fall semester,
Huh.
and it was my first date since my last relationship, which ended the year before. So I hadn't gone on any dates in a year, and even when I was in this relationship, I'd never gone on an official date because it was just like high school, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see each other in school, and that's kind of enough, or you hang out with friends.
Right.
So I'm not gonna particularly say where I met this guy. I just want to keep that that privacy. It was like not a bad place or anything, like I told you guys before. But just because if I do say it, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like ding ding, and I'm sure a lot of people are already gonna be like, oh yep, I remember that happening because it was so big. Yeah.
Do we want to? Do we want a pseudonym for him?
Yeah.
What's something good?
Peyton. We can keep with the football.
Football theme, Peyton.
Mine had to be Tom Sears.
No, we're not.
Okay.
We love Peyton Manning. We're gonna have to choose someone else. Like, who's that? Tim Tebow.
Oh yeah.
Just call him Tim.
Let's go Tom and Tim.
Tom and Tim.
Tom and Tim. Love that. Oh, jeez.
Wow, I fucking hate us.
One
Okay.
glass of wine into the experience.
Okay. So
So Tim.
Tim. So I saw Tim at this place. I was with a whole bunch of friends, and it's funny. The first time I saw him, like, I obviously didn't know him. He walked in through the door. I pointed at him and told my friends, that one. I need to date that one.
You spoke that into
I
existence.
spoke it into
Yeah.
existence.
Yeah.
You brought this upon yourself.
Yeah, it's all my fault. And the thing is that, like, I never talk about guys that way because I just don't, I'm not the type of person to pay so much attention to guys when I'm out. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of people can admire the way someone looks and things, and like they'll point it out, wow, he's so cute, he's so fit, he's so attractive.
Uh-huh.
I'm not that type of person. I just, like, not that I could care less, but also it's like,
Not like your number one
what's
priority.
the purpose? Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I like said that, and then later that week I actually saw him in the hallway before one of my classes where I was waiting, he was waiting also. So I introduced myself. I was like, oh hey, like, you go to this place, and I was there, and so we like pretty much became friends.
Mhm.
But not too far in, I think it was like the week after or maybe 2 weeks afterward, we had been hanging out a lot and he asked me out on a date. I feel like it was too quick, but also I was so, like, at the time, I was very inexperienced at dating in general, so I was like, okay, I guess.
How
like,
far after you guys met did he ask you on a date?
Literally like 2 weeks or 3 weeks maybe. I don't remember the entire timeline, but yeah, so
What happened?
so he asked me out, and you know, he was adorable. He was also inexperienced at dating, like he hadn't had a girlfriend or anything like that before either, so I think it was kind of a learning experience for both of us. But he asked me out, and we were gonna go to like Disney Springs, and it was gonna be cute.
Oh, that's
I'd
cute.
always wanted to go to Disney Springs, you know, hold hands. It's the right place.
That's
you know what I
a
mean?
fun first date.
Yeah, like I thought it was gonna be fantastic. So, all my friends are excited because they were there when I had pointed at him, and they were like, "Oh my god, like this is great!
It's happening.
Yeah.
Wow, you did that!" And so,
The power she has.
The power.
yeah, it's my secret actually. But so he picks me up, and I get in the car, and I'm dressed, you know, not like fancy, but nice because we're going to Disney Springs. And he goes, "Yeah," he parks his car, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't think we should go to Disney Springs anymore." Obviously,
While he's picking you up?
yeah. So at that point, everything in my head just kind of like disappeared. Like
Right.
I think all my brain cells died in one instance
Yeah.
because I didn't know what to do. Like
Right.
if someone tells you that on a first date, like, and they didn't tell you beforehand, like, let's change the plan. You know, you start to overthink, and you're like, does he not like me enough to take me down there? But he doesn't know me that well. But what's the, like, what was the reason? What was the reason? Like, what's going on? And so I was panicked, and I was like, sitting in the passenger seat, and I didn't know what we should do. And he's like, what should we do? And I was like, I don't know.
Wait, so he picks you up and he says, let's not go to Disney
That's
Springs,
really
pretty
and then
cool.
asks you where to go?
Where to go? And I was just like,
That's such a typical guy thing to like change the plans.
boys
Yeah, but not
being
have, like,
bold.
Oh my god!
The day, the hour of, the minute of. And then
Literally, I
someone's
get in
like,
the car,
"Where
he
to
loops
go?"
around,
That's
parks, and he's
a
like,
choice.
so, yeah, so and I have anxiety, so I started freaking out in my head, like I was flipping the hell out, and so he goes, okay, let's just go to this like trail next to my apartment, which sounds sketchy when I
That
say it
sounds
now.
so sketchy.
Yeah.
But I knew he wasn't a sketchy person, so I was like, okay, because what else am I gonna do?
Right.
So like on the drive, he starts playing like a playlist of Spanish music that his friend like had him play because he was like, oh, she's Puerto Rican, let's play Spanish music. And honestly, because
on the head.
it was like
Wow.
one of those very popular like typical songs, I honestly kind of
Was
cringed.
it Despacito?
No,
Oh.
it was Suavemente.
Oh,
Is that like
okay.
a Spanish?
It's salsa. It's like
Salsa,
suavemente.
yeah.
Besame. Yeah. So
So
I
like stereotypical.
So I was sitting, I don't know. I could not tell you. I don't know. I thought it was sweet, but at the same time, I was like, cringe. Like,
It's like one of those things that comes into clarity after. Like, it becomes
Yeah.
so much cringier in hindsight.
Because
Yeah.
it's an awkward moment already where you're going on a first date, plans just change, and then he's like, oh, I made you this playlist to play in the
Yeah.
car, and you're like,
Like, you're Spanish, right?
Suavemente.
Have I got the playlist?
The whole playlist is Suavemente.
On repeat.
Yeah.
So we're driving to this, like, we're driving there, and he parks in his apartment complex, and then right across the street, it's like a school, and then kind of just like a trail, almost like a track, kind of, and we get out and we're walking down it, and I'm like sweating, it's hot, I'm dressed for Disney Springs, I'm not dressed to like walk down here.
Right.
And I just couldn't come up with anything to talk about, and he could hardly think of anything to talk about either. So I think at some moments it was dead silent, and we were just walking, and it was so completely awkward. And I feel like if we had gone to Disney Springs, I think it would have gone much better than that, because
stuff
obviously
to
there's
talk
no
about.
there's stuff to
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about, there's things to do.
Places
It's a
to
fun,
go.
right? It's a fun environment compared to just walking down this trail. You're like, okay, the sky, like,
Did he
yeah,
say
that's
why
pretty.
he changed his mind? Was
No,
he just
I was
wanna, like, spend the gas money to go there? Like,
Yo.
I don't know. In my head, I was like, obviously, I'm not worth it. And so, like, because that was my thought process at the time. And honestly, like, after you hear the whole thing, you'll understand why I struggled for a really long time after this to even, like, think that I'm good enough to date somebody or anything, because it was detrimental to me just overall. Like, I felt so awful about myself. And like I said, he's not a bad person, just inexperienced, and I think he was just confused. But I don't think he realized how hurt I was after this whole thing. So we, you know, dead silent. We're walking back toward, like, his car, and out of nowhere, he goes, maybe we're just both boring people. And I was like, what? Because if you ask my friends, like, I'm not trying to hype myself up, but I am far from boring. I'll tell you that much. Like, I'm super extroverted. I love, like, going on adventures, trying new things. So when he said this, I stopped walking. I stopped in my tracks and I looked at him and I was like, you don't know me that well yet. Like, how could you say that?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to smile through the pain that I'm feeling, and it's like cutting me open, and I'm like, oh boy. And so I can't remember every detail of this conversation, but from that moment and in his car driving me back to my apartment, the whole time he was like, I want to date you, but I don't want to date you, and I like you, but maybe I don't like you, I just don't know yet, and maybe I shouldn't talk to you for a couple of days, but maybe I should. And it just kept doing, like, he kept saying these contradictory things, like, basically saying, I want to pursue you, but I don't, and I want to talk to you, but I don't, and all that stuff. And the kicker is that in the car, as he's driving me back, he says, I don't know if we were at a stoplight, or, like, if he was still driving, but he just goes, yeah, I'm breaking up with you. Because he thought it was funny. He thought it was hilarious. And I was sitting so...
insane.
Oh my god. The audacity.
Boys be bold.
Oh my gosh. I was sitting so close to the passenger side door, like, gripping it and holding in my tears while also trying to, like, think if we get to a stoplight next to a sidewalk, I might possibly just get out of the car.
This is so much worse than I hyped mine up a lot. This is way worse.
Oh my
god. Like, that's why I said I really have to be here, because I just want to share this experience.
Yeah, this is exceptionally bad.
Because actually, like, that semester, some people that I knew just kind of were like, why is she so upset about this? Like, why does she talk about this? And that's because I was hurt. And I don't think they actually realize that when you experience something and it's so harmful to you, and that just, like, that overall experience, people don't really understand it unless they go through it.
Right.
So some people actually, like, genuinely were like, oh, like, she's being ridiculous. But
this is awful.
This sounds like vaguely traumatizing, honestly.
Oh my gosh, that's like outright rejection. But, like, he didn't get to know you. He doesn't know anything about you. He's basically like, well, you suck, and you're not worth my time, so, like, bye.
It would have been a deal breaker for me the second he said the trail. I don't go outside.
Like, outside?
Outside? On a date?
In Florida?
It's just not realistic.
so...
I'm just...
Yeah, he says that, and I'm like, and he goes, oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't funny. And
At least you knew. That's the
he
self-awareness in that moment.
I love how he had to say it out loud to, like, understand.
He
Like,
heard
wow.
his voice say the words, and he was like, oh, that was better in my head.
So, you know that spiral you go through when certain things happen? I think that's what he was going through, and I was going through it too, but not out loud, and he just completely word vomited on me.
Oh my god.
And I couldn't handle all that. I was like, why me? Why?
Right.
Why did this happen?
Yeah.
Like, I guess. So he drops me off, and he pretty much tells me, you know what, I'm not gonna talk to you for the next couple of days, probably. And I was like, I just got out of the car and I started bawling when I got back into the apartment, and a whole, like, I warned my roommates. I was like, by the way, I'm about to absolutely combust. So, because that's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible to go through. And then later on at like 2, 3 a.m., he texted me this really long message, and he was apologizing, and he was like, what I actually meant was I'm just really unsure, and, like, you know, if I want to pursue you or not. So yeah, I think I'm not going to talk to you for a couple of days, but like I just really have to think about it and stuff. And I told him, I was like, that hurt me, and I want you to know that that was not okay to do. Like maybe that's what your thought process was, but there's definitely a nicer and better way to go about it.
Spam.
Tim.
Tim? Is that you?
Tim.
You too? Wait, is it still going?
Oh. Yeah, it's still going.
Okay, just making
We
sure.
good.
So I just kind of was like, okay. Like, I tell him it hurt me, and that, like, that's it. Like, that's all I had to tell him, and whether or not it worked out, like, was whatever. He texted me the next day and the next day after, and he just kind of kept, like, texting me anyways. And then he came to me in person and was like, he gave me an apology. He said, I'm sorry, like, that wasn't right, and he asked me out on another date. I'm too nice of a person sometimes, and a lot of people tell me.
I can see where this is going before my eyes.
So I said yes, and actually the redo first date was actually really great. And the next
That's
couple of times we hung out was fine, but I didn't realize this until after. All we ever truly did was either do homework together or watch Parks and Rec together. And we just weren't. It's kind of like having a best friend you're chilling with, and it feels a little more romantic. So it didn't feel like it was going anywhere. And so by our third date, I just kind of didn't feel it at all. But I still wanted to pursue it because, I don't know, I thought he was a good person, and he is. So I thought maybe romantically I still want to pursue it. So he comes over, we were going to go on a date the next day, and he like was sitting there and we were kind of cuddling, and he gets up and he was like, I have to tell you something. And I was like, here we go. And it's, I was like, this is it.
Just like gave me a chest pain.
I have to tell you something else. Like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just think we should stay friends. Like, I don't think this is working out. And it's funny because that day I actually wrote out in a notebook me like ending things with him, and I found it the other day. I forgot I did this because like I love to write. That's my way of expressing myself. So I wrote down like, I'd love to pursue this, but also I feel like it's going nowhere. So if we don't fix this and have more communication, then I'd rather end things. Like, I wrote that down to tell him that day, but he beat me to it. So I kind of was like, oh well, actually kind of felt the same way. But like, it was just weird, you know, because we were kind of still like cuddling a little bit beforehand. Like, not like a lot, but it kind of felt more like, I don't know, it was just weird.
Yeah.
And he stood up and said that, and I told him to sit down and to like talk to me about it instead of just
like
saying that and
confronting you.
leaving.
Yeah.
So I was like, can you sit down? Like, let's just like talk about it a little. And we kind of did. And honestly, like in hindsight, it was for the best because we would not have worked out romantically speaking. I think we're good friends. We have like similar humor, and so I think that was really what I felt clicked with us. But I didn't know how. I think the excitement made me so excited that I didn't know how to kind of separate what would be good versus what not.
Right.
But yeah, and I think he did ask me if we were gonna go to our date the next day, but not like as friends, not on the date. And I felt like that was too soon.
Yeah.
But so I didn't because I was like, we did end up going to Disney Springs.
Oh, really?
But that was a really awful moment too.
Oh my gosh.
What, Disney Springs was?
Yeah, because
What
we
happened?
actually, so we get, like, he drives us, and the thing is, when he asked me, I thought it was a date, but I guess it wasn't, because he was dressed in, like, a t-shirt and basketball shorts, and I was dressed, like, in
Cute.
a nice top and
Yeah.
jeans, so I was like, and I had done my makeup. I thought, I was like, oh my gosh, yay, finally, my Disney date, and then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, no, I messed up.
He just wanted to go to the MBA experience.
So yeah, we went there and like it was okay, but he didn't make a move on me like at all. Like he didn't hold my hand at all, which is what I wanted. I feel like I said, if you go to Disney Springs, you're walking around, you're doing fun things. Like, why aren't you holding my hand?
Right.
Like that made me so upset. Like I could care less about the kissing or anything like that. Like hold my hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall that was just a complete learning curve for me because in the long run, I obviously learned what I need in a romantic partner, and just in what ways I would click with a person and kind of what's healthy also, because I think us doing that, it kind of was a back and forth, like I want this but I don't want this situation. And it felt like a little toxic thinking about it now, especially because, like I said, afterwards I did not feel good enough at all to be in a relationship. I felt like nobody should pursue me. Like, why would you want to do that? Like, obviously something went wrong and it's completely my fault. And I know now, like, obviously that wasn't the case, but I did feel that way. So I'm glad I learned from it, and I'm glad he and I are kind of acquaintances. But yeah,
Is this the same? This isn't the same guy that you're like in the It's Complicated relationship with.
No.
Okay,
Good.
That's a different guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's a whole story, but I don't want to talk about
We'll save it for
Episode 2.
for when the podcast is off.
That's like the whole thing like reminded me of another tragic first date.
Oh my god.
Except this was like a tragic series of first dates.
Wait, can I say something though?
Yeah.
Yes. The it's complicated sort of like relationship.
Yeah.
I wrote an anonymous article about that, and I told Nicole about it. Actually,
Yeah.
that was one of the first times we bonded.
Oh.
That's that.
My brain just recognized that correlation. It's all
Yeah.
obvious.
Pretty. Yeah. So
Amazing.
I did write an anonymous article about him. So.
I'm gonna look through all the. Like,
I can tell you. I'm not gonna say it out loud because then my friends are gonna be like, and I'm gonna be like, please stop, don't look it up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Okay. So
Okay.
I have a quick story.
Yeah, you
Okay,
first. You
go.
haven't gone yet.
Okay, so this is just like really quick. This was about a year ago, and for anyone listening, for some context, I was briefly engaged like last spring, like a year ago, and after we ended the engagement, I was like, I need to get back out there. I need to like date. I need to like get over it, and so I went on, Tinder, Bumble, the whole thing.
The hell apps.
Oh my god,
hell apps.
a complete hellscape.
Yeah,
like,
I hate them all. They're all terrible. No exceptions.
You said it, and I can only agree. But I met this guy on Bumble, and he seemed like nice enough. Lived in this was not in Florida, by the way. This is when I was living elsewhere. But we set up this date, and basically I was gonna go over to his apartment, and I guess we were gonna like watch a movie or something. Like, no big deal. And so I found his apartment, and he lives actually down the street from where I used to live. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like right near where I live. And he was like, oh, where do you live? And I'm like, oh, I live in this apartment complex. So he like kind of knew where I lived, and I was like, man, I really shouldn't have said that. But anyway, that's what it was. So I walked into his apartment, and just truth be told, this guy was not as cute in person as he was in his pictures.
That always happens.
I noticed
Always.
in his pictures he wasn't smiling with his teeth, which like now after that I'm like, you gotta show some teeth. Like I gotta know, I have to date people with good teeth. And so this guy did not have good teeth, and he played a guitar, and I was like, well, he's musical. Like I like music.
What
I
is it
guess.
with us women and guitars?
I don't know.
It's universal. Like
But-
a guy could be just trash and be like, yeah, but I play guitar, and I'd be like, oh well,
Oh my god.
maybe there's hope.
Just
Stop. There was a kid at my high school who played guitar, and he had the worst temper tantrums all the time. He was a rude person,
But
but
he played
everyone
guitar.
loved him because he played guitar. They were like, oh my god, he's so perfect. And I'm like, he smashed his guitar against a wall. What do you mean?
It's a systematic issue.
Also, can we just like, mention Jed Wyatt from The Bachelorette?
It's on site with Jen. If I ever
On
catch
site,
Jen,
yep.
The greater
I would throw
Orlando
hands.
area, it's on site. I hate him.
He ruined all guitar men for me.
Trash.
Trash through and through. We all know it. Sorry, Hannah B. But
I
anyway.
still love her.
I
She's
know.
so good. We can keep her.
Yes! Oh my god, I love her. Anyway,
She's a queen.
so I was like, I don't know, I was kind of intrigued by him, but like my standards were very low at this point. I was just like, I need to like just get out there, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
Was at his apartment, and he was like, do you want some wine? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so he gets out this wine, and he does not have a corkscrew. So the two of us are like trying to get this, and he's like, and I'm like, oh, that's okay. Literally, and I'm like, oh, that's okay. Like, I don't need wine. He's like, no, it's okay. Like, I can do this. Like, I got it. And so we're like trying to get
He
this
just
cork.
breaks the bottle open.
Literally, I don't even know what happened, but we ended up getting the bottle open, and I'm like, I need a fucking drink. So I'm like pouring myself the wine, and so we're just talking at his like kitchen. And he's like, and I'm like, okay, so like, you know, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I like do pools. And I'm like,
Wait.
oh,
Like swimming pools?
yes.
Oh.
I was confused too. I was like,
I thought
pools.
you meant like billiards, but I was just calling it pools.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, I guess.
No, like I was confused too. I was like, oh, like what, like pools? Like, are you talking about like, you know, a gym pool or like a recreational pool? Like you swim in them? Like what's the
Right.
deal? And he's like, no. He gets out a full catalog. Like I'm talking like a thick catalog, a pool catalog, and he's like, I install these in people's homes. And so he's literally.
He's a passionate man.
He-
He had the pool catalog.
He literally was so. I'll give him that. He was so passionate about his job.
Good for him.
But he literally would flip through the magazine. He's like, I just did an island in this woman's pool the other day, and it was so amazing because like you know you have to do the filtration system like this and that, and like she wanted it heated, so I had to install like this and this, and I'm like. Oh my god, I don't care. Like this is like the most. And he would flip to the next page. He's like, you know something else we can do in pools? Then we can have waterfalls, but we can have waterfalls like this, or we can have waterfalls like that, and we can add rocks, and we do all the landscaping, blah blah blah. And then he would just keep flipping the pages and explaining everything about pools, everything I did
And
not
you
want to
didn't
know.
ask?
No.
That's so
Hey
bad.
man, aspirations are sexy in a man.
That's
It's
so
okay.
Oh my god, no! And let me tell you, like this was I am such a tolerant person. Like I can tolerate things, but this guy, I swear, went on for over an hour about pools when I like never
So
asked.
you can feel your eyes glazing over,
I'm like,
and you're like, are my eyes
God.
focused or are my eyes closed?
And I'm
I
like
can't
just
see anything.
continuing to drink wine and getting more and more drunk just to like, you know, make the situation easier on me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, pools. Like, oh yeah, that sounds fucking dope. Like,
Oh my God.
I'm like hyping it up, and he's like thinking that I'm like, and I guess like I mean I kind of put that on myself, but he's like I'm like hyping it up, and I'm like, oh that's so cool, like you know whatever. And he's like, yeah, this is like I want to like own my own pool company and this stuff, and I'm like, that's really dope, man.
He's
like,
got that pool money though.
yo.
He could have the pool money.
He
You
was-
know, if he was a business owner.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, then he like when we sat on the couch, I think he played guitar for me. I was pretty like inebriated at this point, but he started
Right.
like playing guitar for me, and I'm like, this guy is not cute. He's obsessed with pools. I don't give a shit about pools. He's playing guitar for me. He's not that good. Like, what am I doing here? And so, anyway, and I ended up sleeping with him. So,
So it worked. So the pools worked.
and he gave me chlamydia.
No!
Oh my god.
I am
Stop.
dead ass.
I didn't
dead
expect
ass.
it to
No,
go
that took a turn. That escalated so quickly.
So,
It's funny because chlamydia and chlorine sound really similar. So like
only you, of
I
course.
he could have given me chlorine.
like a linguist in my mind.
Oh my god.
Wow, words. It's like,
Wow.
I wish we were writers or something and
Bars.
had like
Maybe
a
some
vocabulary.
like did work with words. Oh
You
god.
could write a rap out of that. Do it.
Chlorine, chlamydia.
My boyfriend's a rapper.
Oh jeez.
Terrible. Never
Remember
become
that?
rappers.
Trash.
Yeah. So for anyone that's listening to this and they are thinking about going on a Bumble date, that's what's in store for you.
I
I have a
kinda
bad
love him
Tinder date
now.
story.
No, you don't. He's-
I kind of love him now.
I'm only telling this much of the story because he lives like elsewhere and he probably doesn't have any idea what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
he's probably never
That's
gonna find
valid.
this.
I'm trying to figure out good pseudonyms that will keep me safe from the ones that don't because they all go to UCF.
No.
But really used to go. No, Chelsea's story reminded me of
Yes.
like I would say a series of unfortunate events is how I would describe it.
Valid.
But like just like I feel like communication is such a like dropped ball in general.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
talking to guys, especially when you're getting to know them and like trying to
Mhm.
figure out the communication style and like whether or not they are capable of communicating because that seems to be a gap in a lot of
Uh-huh.
Oh, for
so,
sure.
Yeah, it's just a missing checkbox for them, but that's fine. You can work around it. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
so I went on a date with a guy I met at a party. So I was like inebriated, as we say, when I met him. So I like couldn't remember if I actually thought he was cute or not. And I
All been there.
Yeah, so I like had the plans with him, and in my head I was like, God, I hope he's actually cute. Like I don't even remember what he looks. So we go, and this was actually fine. The actual date was okay, except for the fact that we went to the movies and we saw Suspiria,
I've
it's
never heard of
It's a
that.
horror film that's like an art house horror movie. It was so like it was horrible. It was like gory and violent and like
Was it
terrible.
scary?
No, it was bad. It was
Oh,
bad
no.
and also gory and violent. It was just terrible. I hated it. So it was,
Oh
like,
my God.
It was like 3 hours long, like 2.5, 3 hours. A long ass film sitting there. We like made fun of it the whole time. So that's why it was fun. It was like a good first date.
Right.
Mhm.
And I assumed like we went to get ice cream after, and I was like, okay, like that was like a fun first date. Like I had a good time, and like we got along really well,
Uh-huh.
and cool. So we went out again. This is where the lack of communication comes in, and we were supposed to go to Light Up UCF.
Wait, before you say that?
Yeah.
Was he actually cute?
Yes, thank God.
Oh, good. Okay,
Oh my
okay.
God.
He was. I mean, he was fine. He was like I have like a weirdly specific type. He was cute to me.
I know exactly what your type
Yeah.
is.
He,
Okay.
he was fine. So I don't want to gas him up on here, but
But he was
He
alright.
finds this and he's like, you hear that, guys?
I'm all right.
I'm hot shit. No, just kidding.
So we went out again to Light Up UCF. It was like last December, or I think it was November even. It was earlier. And I was like, it's gonna be fun. Like we went to go, we went to Blaze beforehand. It was like a cool thing. And his friends were there. And I think he knew his friends were gonna be there. Like, oh, you can meet my friends. And I was like, oh, it's like kind of soon for this, but sure. So we ate pizza with his friends. They're all pretty nice. Like they were in hindsight, they were nicer than he is. Like this is the gag of the hour.
Ouch.
Yeah. So we all go to Light Up UCF. I thought we were like gonna split off on our own. And another one of the guys, his girlfriend came and met up, and they like split off.
Wait,
on
did
their
the
own.
guys go to light it up?
Yeah, like with us.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, like they're just, they're going to, like why, whatever. And they literally, he refused to like hang out with me at all. He was like, I just want to hang out with my friends. And I
Oh,
was like,
no.
don't you want to ice skate or something? He was like, I'm not gonna do that with you. Like, I don't know why you think I'm like so romantic. Like, I'm not interested in doing that with you.
Oh my
And
god.
I was like, what do you? And he would say like in a joking way, so it was weirdly like gaslighty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah.
would I expect that? Like, I'm not gonna do that with you. And I was like, so I skated alone. And like, I like to ice skate. So I was like, I'm fucking ice skating.
Oh, fuck you,
Here.
man.
So I paid to get in here, so I'm ice skating. So anyway, it was like just awkward and not fun at all. And I left early. And this is like the lack of communication thing. Like he at that point after that was like I'm not interested in a relationship with you. Like I don't want to date. I want to like I'm fine with like casual stuff, but I don't want to like be in a relationship right now. And I was like, why didn't you tell me that like before this? And then I'm such an idiot that I like kept going on casual dates with this guy for like a month. And he kept being like he was like stringing me along basically like, oh, maybe I'll change my mind. Like I don't know, I'm not sure right now, but like I can't tell you how I'll feel in like the future.
He got you on the hook, girl.
I know, and I like I went to Colorado on a trip like unrelated to this because it was like winter break and I was like away from him obviously, so I was out of the state, and it like hit me like in those cartoons of the piano hits a person. I was like, holy shit, what am I doing? Like this guy is like fine, like a 5 out of 10. And I'm like dragging myself through the mud for him, like trying to, oh please, will you date me? Like what the fuck? So I just never talked to him again after that. And because I didn't have any reason to. So it was like, but if he had just like told me in the first place and I had been receptive to it, like I would have been all avoided. Like it was my expectation. Like so him being kind of dishonest that like I just and the first date it was like so good that I set this like precedent in my head. Like, oh, I had so much fun the first time. Like maybe it'll be that again. And it just never was because he didn't want it to be, and I was like not willing to
let it go
until I was like away and had like some distance from the situation.
Right.
So yeah, that was unfortunate, but hey, it was fun fodder for the podcast, so it was worth it.
Yeah,
Oh my
it
gosh.
happens to the best of us, you know.
Yeah, it's especially like in college. I feel like there's, like girls hit puberty earlier, and guys just I feel like they're always like a few years behind us until we're all like adults, kind of. That's right. Like they're always like a couple years stunted. For the most part, there are exceptions.
Right.
But like generally, I feel like they're kind of like immature, and and I just feel like if he had matured and communicated with me, then I could have.
Right.
Exactly.
So
That actually reminded me of another story, both of yours.
Oh my
so,
gosh, yes.
This was, I want to say, a month or two after my breakup in fall semester of my freshman year, and I was devastated because I did date my ex-boyfriend for 6, almost 7 months. So it was like he was my best friend, and then we dated, and then it was like, you're away, I can't handle this, and I was like, valid, but he did it in like a rude way.
Yeah.
So but basically my friend, she made a Tinder account, and she was going on it, and it was funny, and my sweet mate was there, and we were all just having a cracking time
On Tinder,
on,
as one does.
on Tinder,
This
and
holy place on the internet.
and then we were like, oh, I guess, like, they were kind of like, Chelsea, like, why don't you make an account? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's not my go-to thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather meet someone in person, and, you know, that's just how I am. So,
I'm trying to get some more wine up in this bitch.
Pay no attention to the cork popping in the background.
By the way, this is the same brand, but it's Prosecco.
I love that. In this house, we love Walmart wine.
We love $8 wine. This is the most I will pay.
I'm good.
So,
I have to drive after this to the hospital.
Oh.
I guess you just poured it in.
well, I already poured you, so.
Son of a bitch.
Looks like your work is cut out for you.
Keep going.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chelsea.
Like, disclosure, only people of age love Walmart wine.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Chelsea's
baby.
not drinking.
Chelsea's baby.
Nicole and I are
Just
good.
knock on the door. Hello.
They're here.
I can
Hello?
take it away.
It's the dramatic twist that they were waiting for.
You just hear, ma'am, open up.
Don't take my crack though. What?
Hello.
Just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Chrissy crack. And
This is devolved.
I was trying to say like chlorine, chlamydia,
Crack.
There's
Three C's. Three C's.
It's like alliteration, like a poem. Chrissy, chlorine, chlamydia, crack.
Oh god, we
Three
sound like
essential to my being.
What more do you need in life?
What would I do without chlamydia?
Yeah. That's the
Stop.
essential.
Or crack.
Or chlorine.
Oh my god.
Exactly. Just kidding. I don't do any of those things, especially crack. Just saying.
You do chlorine.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
Anyone who listens to this is gonna be like they've lost their mind.
Yeah. Anyone who hasn't applied yet is gonna be like, I'm not applying for
Like,
this.
wow, I'm fucking out.
People are like, I'm gonna retract that. I'll see you guys
Please
later.
don't accept me
We're
to the
cutting
girl.
this all out.
This is what happens when you talk about relationship stuff. Like it devolves into like chaos.
Exactly.
Because there's like so much like pent up like tension and like trauma.
Yes.
It's like, oh, remember when that guy like ruined my life?
It's so fun.
It was such a good time.
Remember when I got the STD? Like,
God.
God, good times.
That was so
Drinks
fun
wine.
and quirky.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, my life is so interesting, quirky, quirky as shit.
Just girly things.
Just girl.
Oh my god. Stop. Let's remake
Keep going,
that.
Chelsea.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
So yeah, this was like 2 months after my breakup, maybe 3. I don't know. It was Thanksgiving time. That's all I remember. So I gave in to the kind of peer pressure, and I was like, maybe I'll find a chicken account like she did, and then it'll be hilarious.
Right.
Like, sure. Made it, and we swiped on a guy that was cute. I don't know a pseudonym to give him, but
Jackson.
Jackson.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know any other football players.
It came from a deep place in my soul.
We'll
we
call
trust you
him
with that.
Jackson. So Jackson was cute, and I was like, sure, why not? So swipe right, and he messages me, and I was like, guys, like I can't. And they're like, go on a date with him. So I want to say our friend kind of typed up that I go on a date with him, or maybe I did, and she just told me what to say. I can't really remember, but basically, I did go on a date with him, and the date went well. It was the day I was going home. So I'm from Tampa, so I was going home that day. So he met me halfway, like on the way there, which was actually really nice of him to do.
Yeah.
He made that effort. We went to Starbucks because that's like
As
a
one does.
staple.
It's like what's like the line of demarcation in North Korea and South Korea. Like a safe place, Starbucks. It's like Switzerland. You can do anything in Starbucks, and they want to be like, there's something for
You know what
everyone
Starbucks
there.
reminds me of? North Korea.
The place
Oh, God.
between North and South Korea, where they're like, it's like neutral, like that little strip of
Neutral
land.
zone.
Yeah, that's what Starbucks is. It's like a
It's
neutral.
only a line of Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh my gosh.
If they had
Koreans.
Starbucks in the line of demarcation,
Perfect.
demilitarization, is that what it's called? Bro,
Bitch, I don't
I have
fucking
one
know.
glass.
Oh my god.
Forget about Korea. Go ahead.
Yes.
So,
But facts. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Facts.
so I met him there. Yeah, my friends, they both came with me. So they were like sitting outside. They got there first, and they were like on the phone with me while I was in my car, and they were like, "Oh, we see him, he's coming." And I was like panicking because, like I said, I'm inexperienced at dating.
Wait,
so
was he cute? Like,
yeah, he was
okay.
cute. He was really cute.
Did he know that your friends were there?
Later on he might have put two and two together,
Right.
possibly, but I don't know if at the moment he did. All I know was like, it's like those videos where you see your friends and they're like joking around and they're wearing the wigs and stuff, but they weren't wearing that. It was just like, it made me feel that way.
Right.
But I felt safe, and that's important.
Yeah.
So he bought my coffee, we sat outside, and we had really good conversation and stuff. And then he kind of did string me along, though. So at first he was like, I don't know if I want to casually date or be serious. And then after that, we went on another date, kind of. And then he came to my place another time, and he hung out with like my roommates and I and some friends that were there. But he was drunk when he showed up. So that
Was he really?
Yeah.
gross.
So it was kind of
Like, what time was this at?
That's important. That's a
Yeah,
good
I am
question.
so curious.
She's about to say like,
Was it like 11 a.m.?
No, it was like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. when he came over.
I
In
don't
the morning?
Is that like
Yeah.
worse or better?
I don't know.
I
I'm a night owl, so my friends.
That seems better, I guess.
My friends and I were all like watching movies and stuff and just like chilling, and he was like, "Oh, let me come over," and I was like, "Oh, sure, like let's all hang out."
Yeah.
Cause I don't know. Like
Oh.
I just was like, we're just, it's college, we're freshmen, we're living life, we don't have class, like it's a
Yeah.
weekend, whatever.
Uh-huh.
So he comes over, but he's drunk, and he's like fine, but he's drunk.
How did he get there? Like he drove?
His
over?
friend dropped him off, and
Oh,
the kid.
okay.
It was a Thursday, well, technically Friday morning, and so.
Because it was 3 in the morning.
Oh my god. Wait, this was after the Starbucks date.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I went home for Thanksgiving that week, and then like I got back, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, like let's hang out, whatever." And so, yeah, he comes over at like 3 a.m. and we were all watching movies, hanging out. He was great with my friends, and I was sitting there, I was like, even though he's drunk, like he gets along well and he's respectful.
Yeah.
So I was kind of digging
not like
it.
a
Like,
belligerent.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't like, oh my god, like this is horrible. Like he was actually cool,
Right.
and
Uh-huh.
he conversational. And
That's
then
nice.
we had like a conversation, and he just kind of was like, yeah, I kind of want something more like serious.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, yeah, I'd be down. I wasn't thinking, because he was a senior. He was, I want to say he already turned 22 by then.
Uh-huh.
So I'm 18, so there's a bit of an age gap there. Not like massively, but
Yeah.
In college,
When
it's
you're
like a little bit different.
it is, because he was pre-med, so like,
Oh, so he has a ton
obvious, I
more.
should have known that it wasn't going to work out.
Mhm.
But the reason this became a horror story is because, so everything was like fine. He actually stayed the night, not like with me, but in the vicinity where like, because obviously like how's he gonna stay the night if my roommates are there and stuff.
Yeah.
But he like kind of, did he sleep on the floor? Yeah. And he actually had a lab the next day, so he like showered at my place and everything, and I felt kind of like awkward because that was just weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't know each other that well, but I
the
like,
second time you've met him, right? Like in person?
I think it was the third time, but
Okay,
still,
still,
yeah.
And so he like passed out, and then he like showered at my place and went to his lab like nothing.
Hungover.
Yeah, pretty much.
Over at the lab.
And I just kind of was like, I mean, I'm ignorant. I just got into college, so I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I'm just 18. Like, I'm sure like people do that and it's normal or something. I don't know. But basically after that, I saw him, I think like 2 more times. But it was just like a hangout, like very casual with my friends. And then he, like, I remember him asking me to kiss him, but I was putting makeup on, so I told him no. And he was like, well, why not? Like, he got really upset about it, and I was like, I'm putting makeup on. Like,
Yeah.
I have
Cannot be
concealer all
bothered.
over my face.
Yeah.
It was weird, and then he was like, okay, well, I'm going to, like, Puerto Rico. Because to see his family. Because it was winter break time now.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said, we didn't hang out a lot, but it was, like, over a span of time.
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't see him for a couple of weeks, and then, bam, we hang out a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, he, like... He was just a weird person. Like, he texted me about a weird dream he had, and it was just, like, very random. He's like, can I get your number? I have to tell you about this dream I had, because I only had him on Snapchat. It was
He
the
sounds like
weirdest thing.
chaotic neutral.
Oh my God,
Like,
Barry.
exemplified.
So then he, like, gets to Puerto Rico, and, like, I guess he's missing me or something, because he sends me a nude video. While he's at the gym. On Christmas Eve, I was at Christmas Eve dinner,
What?
guys.
Oh
I
my
opened this
God.
up, and he's, like, flinging around, you know, his ding-a-ling, and I was like,
On Christmas Eve?
yes, and I, like, threw my
day
phone
before
back.
Jesus was born.
Jesus'
Come on,
birthday.
how are you going to disrespect Jesus like that?
It was disgusting, and at that point, I was like,
You said at the gym, like a public gym.
like, he was at a public gym, and he was nude. Like, he was in the bathroom, but that doesn't make it any better.
He's chaotic evil.
Chaotic evil.
So weird. Like, it's
So-
just so weird.
So he sends me, like, this nude video and stuff, and then, like, it just gets worse, because I didn't respond, and then he was like, I'm sorry, that was uncalled for, and I was like, no way!
When would that be called for? Like, what?
And obviously, like I said, these things they have not happened to me, so I'm freaking out. I'm like, I am 18 years old. This could be illegal. Not really, but it should be.
It's almost illegal.
Yeah.
It's only several months apart from being illegal.
So, and then after that, he like kept messaging me, and I was like very aggressive, because he was like, I wanna, bang you, but like a more aggressive terminology. And it was out of nowhere, and then he was like, I just want something casual, but I miss you, and I wanna, and I was like, I do not do the sex. That is not, that is not me. That's not gonna happen.
Non-committal.
I don't do that, so no, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
But he kept saying, like, he kept asking, and then I found out he's pretty much a furry, and that's where the real horror.
Oh no!
Every time I think I have like a bad story, Chelsea shows me. That's like, oh my god.
Oh my God!
You guys can't see me, but I'm hugging my body in fear right now.
I'm clutching my chest.
I've
Like a suit and all that, like a fur suit.
like actual animal attraction.
Oh god,
furry.
that's worse.
But it's
I mean, it's all bad, but that's worse.
Like, it was
that's
okay.
just bestiality.
So, well, okay. Like he would. Let me tell. At this point, I obviously was not interested in him, but I like didn't want to take him off Snapchat, because then he'd see me on campus and then I would die,
Right.
So.
A campus of 40,000 students. It happens. It's always when you don't want to see them.
Oh my, but I'm so
Yeah.
about like not making things awkward.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that is, I get you.
So I like it was still winter break, because that's about like a month long basically, and he kept messaging me about wanting to like do stuff, and I kept saying no, and then so I would post videos of my dog, and she sits on me, because she's not a lap dog, she's my height pretty much.
What kind of dog do you have?
She's a shepherd mixed with a hound.
Oh, big dog.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So she's not as big as a actual German Shepherd, but she's still my height.
Uh-huh,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like when I sit down next to her, she's taller than me.
Uh-huh.
So she would sit down, and I'd post her, because I love my dog and I miss her obviously. And he would always go, "Wow, you are the dog and I am you." And I was like, that's gross. And then he'd be like, "I just really want to kiss your dog's ears like a lot." And it was just weird. Like he would make comments
absolutely
over
harder
that.
than the chlamydia thing.
Oh my
Honestly,
God.
like, I can't even believe what I'm hearing.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it was bad. Like he would say that all the time.
About your dog?
Yeah, and about like me like being my dog. It was just
Electric
weird.
chair.
So
Honestly.
it was
Electric
so
chair.
weird.
Chair.
And like listen, this podcast is hearing more than I think some of my friends have heard because I do not like to go back and think about this.
Yeah.
But there's always a learning experience. Like I said in the article I wrote about New Year, you know, all the bad things lead to good things.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you what the good thing came out of that was other than a
get
learning
there.
experience.
We'll get
Yeah.
there.
I think that just helped me realize that Tinder is the devil.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would like
I
that
hate
one
Tinder.
experience. Well, technically I had 2 experiences on Tinder, but one was just like bad. The other one was just I found my 5th grade boyfriend on there, and he remembered me.
That's
That
cute.
is so funny.
That's
It was kind of
Yeah.
cute.
That is
Yeah,
really
but
Tinder's
except for
like-
the fact that he was like, "Oh yeah, you dumped me," and I
In 5th grade,
yeah,
bitch.
Yeah, no, we
Were
were
you in 5th grade? 10?
10.
11?
Yeah, he was like, "We dated for a day, and then you dumped me, and you had no valid excuse for it." He was just kidding, but I was
That's
like,
so funny.
horrible, because then I saw him at the mall not long after that conversation.
Tinder's like either fine, like it's either totally fine, or it's like so bad that it's incomprehensible. Like,
And
that it
honestly,
exists.
it's 50-50. Like, you
Yeah.
really don't know what you're gonna get.
It's hit or miss, but when you miss, it's like you get a furry.
What's that
Yeah,
song?
when you miss, it's a
Hit or
hard
miss.
miss. But when you like,
Something kiss,
Hit
yeah.
or miss.
Or something, yeah, it's gross, yeah.
so if you want to know how we feel about Tinder and Bumble, these are our experiences.
I think.
These are possible options for everyone out there.
So this is
This
we're just showing you
happened
your
to
You
future.
could either end up with chlamydia or furry, so choose wisely.
Or nobody at all. I mean, I feel like I stay winning now.
Oh my god.
I got no furries on my list. Or chlamydia, I guess.
I hope this made you feel better about
I
yourself.
hope this made you feel
I
better.
hope this made you feel
Nicole.
better.
I feel like I don't know, I feel like we've all grown.
We all
we
have.
evolved.
Oh,
We
100%.
said- Wow.
What's it been, like an hour and a half?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, you know, we love to hear it.
I love to hear it.
Do you love to hear it, Chelsea?
We always love to hear it.
Love to hear it.
Dope. Well, that'll do it for this podcast. Thanks for listening to our dating nightmares.
If you're not scared off, tune in whenever next one is.
Yes, tune in for episode 2.
It won't be about furries. There will be no furries.
Can't
Or
promise, but
or
probably.
chlamydia.
You know what, you're
That
right.
won't be
You
brought
never
up.
know.
We don't know what our next
I don't
topic is
wanna-
going to be.
I don't want to promise no chlamydia or furries, and then
Yeah, and then it'd be like next coming
and
up,
it's only chlamydia.
sex kinks.
Gosh,
Oh my gosh, could you
Wow.
imagine if we did an episode on that?
I support it.
I would support it.
I'm gonna make a note about that.
Alright, I will too.
Jot that down.
Oh my god.
Who has a
Oh my
notebook? Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at our next episode. Bye.